Okay, let's unpack this because, well, how many times have we caught ourselves saying something like, I'll finally be happy when...
Oh, constantly when I get that dream job or
Right. Or when I find the perfect partner, or maybe even my life will just click once my home looks exactly like something off Pinterest.
it's such a common mental track, isn't it? Pushing happiness off into the future.
Yeah, like it's some kind of reward you only get after you've achieved, I don't know, perfection.
Exactly. And today, we're really diving into a fascinating collection of insights that flips that whole idea on its head. Our sources suggest happiness isn't really this thing you chase endlessly.
Okay.
It's more something you actively create, something you cultivate, like right here, right now,
Even with all the messiness of real life.
especially with the messiness, imperfections and all. That's kind of the point.
Okay, I like the sound of that. So our mission today is basically to pull out the practical wisdom from these sources. We want to help you understand how you can cultivate joy, not by just waiting around for everything to be perfect.
Which never happens anyway.
Right, but by mastering your own perspective,
Yeah.
your internal world, and building some really powerful daily habits.
Yeah, shifting from that I'll be happy when, which is so ingrained, to something more empowering, like, okay, I choose to create my happiness now.
So these sources we're looking at, they offer a kind of roadmap.
They really do. It's quite clear, actually. They guide us through this significant philosophical shift, moving away from just passively hoping for contentment,
Yeah.
but actively building it. And crucially, they include tangible actions, things you can actually do that help rewire our brains for, lasting, resilient joy.
Rewire our brains. That sounds intense.
No, it's about creating new patterns. We're going to explore what it really means to anchor your sense of well-being inside yourself so it's less susceptible to whatever life throws at you,
Yeah.
less dependent on those external ups and downs.
Okay, that makes sense. So where do we start? Maybe by tackling that big idea first, the whole concept of a perfect life.
Exactly. Let's confront that illusion head on because many of us, maybe subconsciously, really cling to it. Okay, so what's really fascinating, and honestly, sometimes a bit confronting when you first grasp it, is this illusion of perfection itself.
It feels so real, though, sometimes.
It does,
Yeah.
but our sources are really clear. It's basically an ever-moving target. Think about it. The moment you believe you finally got it, maybe it's the ideal job or that perfectly organized home or a relationship with zero friction, the goalposts just shift. Suddenly there's a new ideal you need to reach.
Right, it's never quite enough.
Never. And here's the critical part. This relentless pursuit, the waiting for perfection, it actively steals the happiness that's actually available to you right now in this moment.
So by waiting, we're basically missing out.
Completely. If we keep deferring our joy until everything is perfectly aligned, which, let's be honest, our experience shows rarely, if ever, happens exactly as we plan.
Yeah.
We're essentially opting out of happiness indefinitely. The sources really hammer home this profound truth. Life has never been flawless. It was never meant to be.
But joy is still possible.
Absolutely. Joy has always been possible, right there within the inherent messiness of it all.
You know, that really resonates. I catch myself doing it all the time. That feeling of, okay, once I just finish this one project, then I can relax and be happy.
We all do it.
But then, boom, another one thing just pops right up. And here's where it gets really interesting, like you said. The sources challenge us directly, don't they?
They do.
Are we actively building happiness now day by day, or are we just waiting, almost unconsciously waiting for life to suddenly become perfect before we give ourselves permission to feel joy?
That's the core question. And that belief, that deep, real joy, only shows up once everything lines up perfectly.
The dream job, the perfect partner.
Yeah. The ideal home, maybe even becoming some perfect version of ourselves. It's not just a harmless wish.
It's a trap.
It's absolutely a trap. It keeps us perpetually chasing something that's always just slightly out of reach. We end up living in this constant state of not quite there yet.
And that leads to disappointment, inevitably.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, yes. Tying your joy so tightly to flawless circumstances, it's a setup for chronic disappointment. Because the world, well, it was never designed to bend perfectly to our often very rigid expectations.
Life happens.
Life happens.
Yeah.
The sources put it quite bluntly, actually. They say things like, the rain will fall when you desperately want sunshine for your picnic.
Yeah, been there.
People will inevitably disappoint you, even those you trust deeply.
Ouch. But also true.
And plans, no matter how meticulously you craft them, will fall apart sometimes.
So real happiness isn't about avoiding those things.
Not at all. According to these insights, real happiness doesn't wait for those things to stop happening. It actually begins the moment you start accepting life as it truly is. Messy, gloriously unpredictable, and yes, beautifully imperfect. It's about making a conscious choice.
A choice
To see the beauty in the imperfections. To find meaning even in the broken pieces. To discover moments of unexpected peace right in the middle of the chaos. It's a total reorientation of what we expect from life.
Wow. Okay, so what does that actually mean for us day to day? Like, how do we put that into practice?
Well, it means we start by letting go of that fantasy, that image of how life should be.
The perfect version.
Exactly. And instead, we start embracing and actually experiencing life as it truly is, raw, unpolished, maybe a bit rough around the edges.
But still meaningful.
Profoundly meaningful. It's about loosening that tight grip on control, that need for everything to be just so, and opening ourselves up to how things actually are.
That sounds freeing, actually.
It really can be. And here's something that might surprise you, something that the sources highlight really well.
Okay.
Think about your most cherished memories, the ones that genuinely warm your heart when you recall them.
Mm-hmm.
Chances are they were rarely, if ever, perfect, were they?
Huh. You know, you're right. They often involve something going wrong or being unexpected.
Exactly. And this raises a really important question that the sources explore quite deeply. Why do we spend so much energy romanticizing this idealized perfect future?
Yeah.
When our most treasured, most impactful memories are almost always defined by their imperfections, by the challenges they presented, and by the incredible growth they forced us to undergo.
That's a powerful point. So those messy moments are actually good.
They're where the magic happens.
Yeah.
The insights we're looking at illustrate this beautifully. They give examples like,
Mm.
think about that family vacation where it rained every single day.
Oh, no. Sounds miserable.
But maybe it forced you all inside, playing games, talking, laughing spontaneously. Maybe that became the unforgettable bonding experience.
Okay, I can see that.
Or the dinner party where everything went wrong, the main course burned, maybe the power flickered out.
Distressful.
But it became this hilarious story that you still tell with so much joy years later. Or even something deeper,
Like,
like a heartbreak that felt utterly devastating at the time. Like it would absolutely break you.
yeah.
But looking back, maybe that experience revealed an incredible depth of strength, a resilience you never knew you had.
Wow. Okay, so the value wasn't in the perfect outcome.
Not at all. The magic of life, the real vibrancy and deep meaning, it isn't found in some kind of sterile, predictable perfection. It's found in the surprises, the tough lessons, the unexpected ways it pushes us to grow. Happiness doesn't live in some pristine, untouched bubble.
It lives. Where?
It lives in the cracks, in the unpolished moments, in those quiet, sometimes difficult reminders that you are fully, truly alive, experiencing the whole rich spectrum of being.
That's a completely different way of looking at it. So stop waiting for someday.
Exactly. When you really stop waiting for that elusive perfection, something profound shifts inside you.
You give yourself permission.
To give yourself explicit permission to be present, to stop delaying joy for some mythical future that never quite shows up.
Yeah.
You start to understand, really feel it in your bones, that happiness isn't some distant destination you're racing towards.
It's a fundamental way of being.
It's a fundamental way of being, a state you can choose to inhabit right here, right now.
Okay. So building on that, this idea that happiness is an active, present choice, let's dig into the how. How does our mindset play into this? Because you mentioned that's key.
Absolutely. Our mindset, our internal operating system, if you like, becomes the single most powerful tool we have in this whole process.
Right.
That's precisely it. Our sources really drive this point home.
Yeah.
Happiness is far less about your external circumstances, what's happening around you,
Right.
and far more about how you choose to see it, how you choose to respond to it, moment by moment.
So it's not about pretending things are great when they're not. That kind of toxic positivity.
No, definitely not. That's a crucial distinction. It's not about ignoring challenges or slapping a fake smile on everything. It's more about embracing life fully, with all its rough edges, its unexpected detours, its genuine difficulties, and still consciously choosing gratitude, still deliberately choosing peace, even when things are tough.
That sounds hard.
It can be. Perfection, see, demands that life be absolutely flawless, which is a state that, let's face it, never truly exists. Happiness, though.
Yeah.
Happiness, according to these insights, only makes one fundamental request: that you stay open, stay adaptable, stay willing to find meaning, even in the uncomfortable stuff.
Stay open. I like that. But, in our world today with social media and everything, staying open feels harder than ever.
Right.
We're constantly seeing these seemingly perfect
Oh,
lives.
absolutely. That's a huge factor. We live in a society that seems almost obsessed with the appearance of perfection.
Mm-hmm.
It's fueled by these highly curated snapshots, these highlight reels online that make it look like everyone else has it all figured out. Perfect job, perfect family, perfect body, perfect vacation.
While you're just trying to get through the day.
Exactly. While you might be privately wrestling with your own daily chaos. But here's the thing to remember, and the sources really emphasize this.
What's that?
Behind every single one of those perfect pictures, there's a complex story, usually unseen. A story of struggle, maybe pain, resilience, ongoing growth. Nobody just wakes up with a perfect life.
So remembering that helps.
Immensely. The psychological insight here is pretty profound. When you truly internalize the fact that nobody's life is genuinely perfect, not even the people you admire or maybe even envy,
Yeah.
you start to free yourself from that debilitating comparison trap. It's incredibly freeing
How so?
because it allows you to start honoring your own unique journey with all its specific twists and turns, its hard-won scars, its invaluable lessons. You start seeing its own inherent, irreplaceable value.
Instead of constantly measuring it against someone else's highlight reel.
Precisely. It's a massive shift from seeking external validation to finding internal acceptance.
That is a huge relief, honestly. Just thinking about it, it means we can finally let go of that impossible, exhausting standard we set for ourselves.
Imagine it. Imagine living your day without that constant grinding pressure to prove your worth, or perform flawlessly, or polish every little detail of your life for some imagined audience.
It sounds peaceful.
Exactly. Imagine letting go of that desperate need to control every single outcome and just allowing yourself to live with all the beautiful, messy unpredictability that comes with it.
Okay, so perfection creates anxiety.
Yes. Our sources really contrast these two approaches starkly. The relentless pursuit of perfection, it actively creates anxiety. It keeps you in this constant state of tension, of never quite measuring up.
And acceptance.
Acceptance, on the other hand, creates peace. Real, enduring peace. Think about your own life. The crooked path you might feel you've walked, the broken pieces of past dreams, maybe those missed opportunities you still regret.
Yeah.
Those things don't disqualify you from experiencing joy. Not at all. In fact, when you look at them through this lens of acceptance, they actually prepare you.
Prepare you how?
They prepare you to value joy more deeply when it comes, to understand its nuances better, to hold on to it with a stronger, more resilient grasp, because you know what the alternative feels like.
That's not just a nice thought, is it? It's about how our mind works.
It is. It's about fundamentally understanding that your mindset shapes your entire experience of happiness. Joy doesn't just magically arrive from your circumstances.
It comes from.
It comes from how you choose to think about them, how you choose to see them, and how you choose to respond to whatever life throws your way.
The sources use that analogy, right, about the storm.
Yes, it's a really powerful one and very relatable. They say two people can face the exact same storm.
Okay.
One person might just collapse under its weight, seeing only destruction and despair,
Mm-hmm.
while the other person, facing the very same conditions, finds an incredible, unexpected strength right in the heart of that struggle.
Wow.
And the crucial difference, the sources make clear, isn't the storm itself. The storm is the storm.
It's their mindset.
It's their mindset, their internal framework for interpreting what's happening and how they react to it.
And that relates back to the "I'll be happy when" trap.
Absolutely. We often fall into it, delaying joy for some future point when everything aligns perfectly. But life isn't waiting for that moment.
Life is happening now.
Life is happening now, in the ordinary moments, in the flawed moments, in the unfinished projects, the messy kitchens, the imperfect relationships. Happiness isn't some rare gem hidden inside perfection.
It's here.
It's vibrantly alive in how you consciously choose to perceive and engage with this very moment, flaws and all.
So happiness isn't the absence of struggle.
Precisely. That's a key definition here. It's not about having no problems. It's about developing the profound ability to carry peace within you, to cultivate resilience, and to maintain clarity during the struggle itself.
And that comes down to controlling our reactions.
Yes, learning to master your reactions. Our sources talk about this as emotional discipline. When you develop that, your happiness becomes incredibly steady and reliable.
Why? Because it's not dependent on externals.
Exactly. Because it no longer depends on external factors that are, by their very nature, constantly changing and fundamentally beyond your complete control. Your perspective is everything.
Okay, so if I see obstacles as just Punishments?
Well, if you choose to see them only as punishments, as unfair burdens life keeps throwing at you, you'll likely live with a background hum of bitterness and resentment.
Makes sense.
But if you make the deliberate choice to reframe them, to see them perhaps as lessons or even as opportunities for unexpected growth,
Then what happens?
you create this invaluable internal space for joy to exist, even when things are genuinely difficult. This is a core idea in things like cognitive behavioral therapy, challenging and reframing those automatic negative thoughts.
It really boils down to that choice again, doesn't it?
Every time. The sources use another great metaphor for this, the closed door.
Okay.
When one door closes in your life, maybe a relationship ends or a job opportunity falls through, you have a fundamental choice. You can stand there, staring at that closed door forever, mourning what you lost, replaying it over and over.
Which feels pretty natural sometimes.
It does. Or you can actively choose to trust that perhaps, just perhaps, another door is already opening somewhere else, revealing new possibilities you couldn't have seen before.
And that choice makes all the difference.
It's the difference between getting stuck in despair and finding a pathway towards renewed hope and happiness.
So this really highlights the question you mentioned earlier.
Yes, the deeper dive into the material keeps circling back to it. Is our mind ultimately our prison, locking us into these negative loops?
Or is it our freedom?
Or is it our key to freedom? The tool that empowers us to navigate literally any challenge. Because think about it, the exact same situation can break one person, but it can profoundly build another. It can harden their resolve, clarify their purpose, make them stronger.
Circumstances change, but the response is key.
Circumstances will always, inevitably change.
Yeah.
That's a guarantee. But your response, your mindset, the story you tell yourself about what's happening, that is the consistent factor. That determines whether you stay stuck, defined by the past, or whether you rise stronger, wiser, more capable.
Okay, so if mindset is this crucial, this fundamental, how do we actually build that inner strength? How do we cultivate the resilience needed to keep that positive perspective even when life gets really, really tough?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And that leads us directly into exploring how to cultivate that inner strength and resilience.
Right, because it's one thing to say mindset matters, but it's another to actually feel strong when things are falling apart.
Yeah.
And you mentioned earlier, it's not always about what people have, right?
Exactly. That's why, as our sources compellingly point out, you sometimes see people who have significantly less, materially speaking, less external comfort, fewer possessions.
Yeah.
And yet they seem to smile more. They possess this deeper sense of contentment compared to some people who, on the surface, seem to have everything.
So it really isn't about the stuff.
It's almost never about the stuff. It's entirely about perception, about their internal state. Because life, as we've established, is inherently unpredictable.
Ups and downs.
Absolutely. One moment you might be in a season of relative abundance and ease, things are going smoothly. The next, you could find yourself in a period of lack, struggle, maybe even profound loss. It happens to everyone. Now, if your happiness depends entirely on those fluctuating external conditions staying good,
You're in for a rough ride.
you are constantly riding an emotional roller coaster, tossed around by every single shift in circumstance, completely at the mercy of things you can't control.
Okay, but the alternative.
The alternative is anchoring your joy internally. Anchoring it deeply within how you choose to think, how you choose to respond, how you choose to interpret your experiences.
And when you do that.
It becomes fundamentally unshakable, or at least much more stable. It transforms from being this fragile thing dependent on external validation into a resilient internal resource you can always tap into.
An internal resource.
I like that. And what's really fascinating here, a core principle drawn from, resilience research cited in our sources, is this powerful idea. Protecting your response is basically the same as protecting your happiness.
Say more about that. Protecting your response.
Yeah. Our material defines true strength not as, being emotionless or suppressing how you feel. That's not strength.
Right.
True strength lies in emotional discipline. It's a powerful, deliberate control over how you react to life's inevitable bumps and bruises.
Can you give an example?
Sure. You can't always stop someone from saying something insulting or hurtful to you. People will be people.
Unfortunately, yeah.
But you possess the ultimate power to choose whether their words actually penetrate your heart, whether you let them fester inside you, or whether you allow them to just bounce off.
That takes practice.
It definitely takes practice. Or another example, you can't always control when your carefully laid plans suddenly fall apart. It happens. But you absolutely control whether you crumble under the weight of that disappointment or whether you choose to rise stronger. Maybe you learn something from the setback.
So happiness grows when you stop giving your power away.
That's a great way to put it. Happiness truly flourishes when you stop handing your emotional state over to the whims of external circumstances or other people's opinions. No person, no unexpected event, no painful rejection should have the power to dictate your joy. Unless you consciously or unconsciously give that power away. It's about taking back control of your inner world.
Okay, but this doesn't mean just pretending everything's fine, right? Like ignoring real pain. That feels unhealthy too.
No, absolutely not. And that's a really crucial clarification, a dangerous misconception about cultivating happiness. It's not about ignoring pain or pretending problems don't exist.
So what is it about?
It's about allowing yourself to feel those difficult emotions fully. Acknowledge the hurt, the frustration, the disappointment. Let them wash over you. They're real.
Okay. Feel the feelings, then what?
But then after feeling them, it's about making a deliberate, conscious choice about what comes next. Choosing patience over snapping in anger. Choosing to look for something to be grateful for, even amidst bitterness. Choosing to hold on to hope instead of letting despair take over completely.
Those choices sound incredibly difficult sometimes.
They are. Our sources are very realistic about this. They acknowledge these choices aren't always easy. They often require immense inner effort, real struggle.
But they're possible.
But the materials assure us, based on countless examples, that they are always possible. Maybe not easy, but possible.
Right.
And here's the key. Every single wise choice you make, every time you choose a constructive response over a destructive one, it strengthens the very foundation of happiness within you. It builds that inner muscle.
So it gets easier over time.
Exactly. Eventually, through consistent practice, these intentional acts can become deeply ingrained habits, almost like in nature. Your default response starts to shift.
And what's the overall impact of that shift?
The cumulative impact is truly profound. You start to fundamentally see challenges differently.
How so?
Setbacks stop being these breaking points that shatter your resolve. Instead, they transform into shaping moments, opportunities that refine your character, clarify your values, maybe reveal hidden strengths.
And other people lose their power over your mood.
To a large extent, yes.
Yeah.
People no longer possess the unilateral power to control your peace of mind just by saying or doing something. You learn to guard that peace from within, like protecting a precious internal sanctuary.
So you move from reacting to responding.
Perfectly put. You shift from a reactive mode where you're just automatically triggered by external stimuli to a proactive mode of responding with intention, with wisdom, with maybe even compassion.
And happiness becomes less about what happens to you.
Exactly. In this transformation, happiness is no longer this fickle outcome tied solely to what you go through.
It's tied to who you're becoming.
It becomes a steadier state tied to who you are becoming through those experiences. When you consistently choose to respond with wisdom instead of weakness, with peace instead of panic, with maybe even finding joy where others see only reasons for jealousy,
You rise above it.
you quite literally rise above your circumstances. Our sources use that powerful image again. Storms will inevitably come, but they will not sink you. Winds will definitely blow, but they will not break you.
Why not?
Because your response, your deliberate, conscious choice, and not your external circumstances, becomes the true author of your happiness or peace and your enduring strength.
Wow. Okay. So it's really clear then happiness isn't just luck.
Not at all.
It's not this fragile thing that can be easily smashed. It's something you build.
It is something robust,
Yeah.
something you actively construct moment by moment, day by day. And how do you build it? Through the consistent application of small, intentional daily habits.
Not grand gestures, but small habits.
Precisely. Happiness lives not in the huge, rare events, but in the smallest, often overlooked details of your daily routine.
Like what?
Like the way you choose to begin your morning with intention or with dread. The thoughts you consciously choose to nurture throughout the day. The kind words you speak to yourself, especially when you mess up. The energy you consciously choose to carry out into the world.
These aren't random. They're choices.
They are powerful, repeated actions. And they lay the groundwork, brick by brick, for a genuinely joyful life.
And you mentioned earlier this actually rewires the brain.
Yes, and this is where the neuroscience insights in our sources get really exciting. It connects to the concept of neuroplasticity.
Which is?
The brain's incredible ability to reorganize itself, to form new neural connections throughout our entire life, it's not fixed.
Okay.
So just like negativity can become second nature, if you practice it daily through habitual complaining, constant comparison, crippling self-doubt, those pathways get stronger.
Right.
Happiness, too, becomes a deeply ingrained, almost automatic way of being when you consistently practice the habits that support it.
Like gratitude, patience.
Exactly. Gratitude, patience, resilience. When you practice these consistently, you're literally forging new positive neural pathways. Your inner strength isn't built when things are easy.
It's built through the effort.
It's meticulously built and solidified through that persistence, through the consistent effort of choosing well, especially when it's hard. And your resilience, that quiet, unwavering power, is what keeps joy alive, vibrant, and accessible no matter what unpredictable challenges life throws your way.
Okay, so that leads us perfectly into talking about those specific habits. If happiness is built through these daily actions, what exactly are they? Okay, let's get really practical here. Our sources seem to lay out 3 core pillars, 3 foundational habits for building this kind of sustainable happiness lifestyle. And the first one is, well, it's one we hear about a lot, but maybe don't always practice effectively. Gratitude.
That's right. And the core statement here is incredibly clear and empowering. Happiness is not some random stroke of luck. It's not something that just happens to you.
It's a lifestyle.
It's a deliberate lifestyle, meticulously built on consistent daily habits. And the sources argue that when these 3 pillars, gratitude, patience, and awareness, shift from being just abstract ideas into being a consistent lived routine, part of your daily fabric, then joy starts to feel natural. It feels less like something you have to strive for and more like your default setting.
Okay, so let's break down gratitude first. Why is it so powerful? It sounds simple.
It sounds simple, but what's truly fascinating, and backed up by a lot of psychological research mentioned in our material, is that gratitude isn't just about politely saying thank you.
It's more than manners.
Much more. It functions as a powerful form of mental training specifically for joy. It actively transforms your perception and, as we discussed, literally helps reshape your brain over time.
How does it do that?
By intentional practice. When you deliberately pause each day, maybe first thing in the morning or last thing at night,